Welcome to Always in Escrow with Serena Appel and Colby Burchin. Hello, Colby.
Top of the morning, Serena. How are you?
I'm fantastic because we are talking about one of the hottest trends in food and one of the fastest growing companies in the United States. Today, we're speaking with Rachel Solomon, who serves as co-CEO and CMO and partner of West Palm Beach-based Boarderie. And Bordery is the first and only ready-to-graze cheese and charcuterie board company that ships nationwide overnight. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm super excited because, first of all, I'm a huge foodie first. My wife and I are crazy foodies. And second off, we are huge Shark Tank fans. So the minute I saw you on Shark Tank, I was like, I'm ordering it. I'm trying it out. If it's amazing, I'm going to send it to all my clients, which I did do. And they all love you. So thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you. That's what we love to hear. That's our goal. Lots of client gifting. That's one of our biggest, one of the biggest things people use Boardery for because it's unique.
Exactly. So I'm going to dive right into it. When was the aha moment when you knew you were onto something big?
So I would say our first brand we actually launched on Goldbelly in October of 2020. And very quickly by December in 2020, we were one of the highest grossing vendors they'd ever had. And so we knew we were onto a new concept that was really interesting. Like traditionally, you're going to get a gift basket that's full of chunks of cheese and chubs of meat that you have to put together yourself. There's not really anything interesting in the edible gifting space that feels unique or new. And that's where we really filled a gap. And I think people don't realize how big the edible gifting space is. There are billions and billions of dollars of edible gifts sent per year, especially with corporate gifting. So we just offered a product that was really different and unique and didn't require anybody to do any work. We were using really artisan ingredients. We still are. We always will. And I think people saw that and immediately took to it. And we've been growing ever since.
Amazing. Okay, so they're butter boards, they're cheese boards, they're charcuterie boards. Let's talk about Bordery's rise in the context of the fast-growing grazing board trend.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started at a time that was really pivotal. I think it was the perfect time for us because it was during COVID in 2020, and Boardery actually launched in 2021, but our first brand launched in 2020. And that was when everybody was on social media. They were making their own charcuterie boards. They were learning what charcuterie was. A lot of people think that charcuterie is just a cheese board. Actually, charcuterie is the meat, and a cheese and charcuterie board is the full board. So we were in a really interesting time when everybody was sharing boards and posting boards and learning about them and wanting to make their own. And for all of those people who didn't want to make their own, and it can be very expensive and time consuming to put together a board, they were ordering ours online and it got shipped to their door overnight. And it would arrive perfectly assembled. And I think that was something that really was so convenient and interesting to people and a real experience, especially during COVID when everybody was stuck at home. They could order this and have a nice experience. Our largest board actually has 35 artisan ingredients. So to go out and buy all of those and assemble a board of this quality, if you can even find the artisan cheeses we're using, which most people could not in their local area, it was really great. And so that was the start of it, and that's how it took off. And then when now it's really become a fantastic gifting business, and people are ordering for their own events and hosting and, corporate events and all the different occasions.
So bring us back to the beginning. Was it instant chemistry between you and the co-founders?
Yes. So I actually met Aaron and Julie during COVID, and they had a big catering business that was one of the biggest and most successful catering businesses in South Florida. They did high-end events for celebrities and all different types of amazing, spectacular displays. And so one of their best-selling products was these beautiful cheese and charcuterie board displays. So that's really where the idea came from. They had this concept when COVID hit, obviously all their business was canceled. They were doing live events. And so they needed a way to keep their business afloat and to pivot to something that could be shipped And so that's where the concept came from. And, we hit it off from the very beginning when I met them and heard about the product and what they were doing. And so it's been quite a journey since.
Well, what a journey you have had. Let's rewind to getting onto Shark Tank and landing a deal with Lori Greiner. How was that?
It was amazing. So we actually applied 2 years in a row. And the second year we finally got on, which was the perfect timing, because the first year I don't think we were ready. The second year it was ideal. And so it was just a fantastic experience. You think you're going to be nervous going out there, but really you're not. You know more about your business than anybody does. And we'd made a lot of progress. And so we were just really excited to have somebody who could help us on the marketing side, because we were producing the product. We can produce about 3,000 per day out of our production kitchen in Florida, but we were not experts in marketing. And so that's why we really wanted to go on to Shark Tank, to get a partner who had that expertise. And over the course of the past year, I've learned so much about marketing and stepped into that role. And it's been fantastic, and we're excited to have Lori on board. She's our partner now. So, she's a marketing guru and she knows what she's doing.
I have to say your marketing is fantastic, because I'm looking at all of your content. I'm checking out what your website looks like. You guys have to see and follow this company, because you really are delivering behind the scenes look at how it all happens. That's like transparency right there. I love seeing you as the face on Instagram as well. And, just it's so many stories that you're telling, and it's this constant flow of information. So kudos.
I've been running our social media from the beginning, and that's one small part of marketing, but there's never enough with it. You always have to be constantly creating and posting, and I'd like to do more. It's just there's so many facets of marketing that become so intricate, like managing the ad account and creating ads, and it goes on and on and on. And you don't realize until you really get into it how pivotal it is for a business. And I think that one thing, I have so much respect for people in marketing now, because it really, especially today with all of the D2C brands and everything's online, everything's digital. So having a good marketing team is really the most important thing in a business after a great product.
I'm sure our audience would be curious, what happens in the hours after the Shark Tank episode airs?
So yeah, that was crazy. So we actually had a huge Shark Tank party at our production kitchen. We had about 300 people here. We had a huge screen, and they call you about a few weeks before it's going to air. They let you know. So we were prepared, and I mean, it was just insane. The phones kept ringing off the hook. We couldn't answer the phones fast enough. It got to the point where we had hundreds of thousands of people went to the website within a few days. And it was just really, it was insane after that. So it aired at the perfect time for us, actually, November, the end of November, right before Thanksgiving, which tons of people ordered for Thanksgiving and then for Christmas. And, we were doing about $1 million in sales a week just on our website after Shark Tank. So yeah, it was exceptional. And we feel very fortunate to have had our episode aired at that time.
The power of marketing at work right there, right? And also being on Oprah's list and, constantly.
Yeah, and that actually hit the same time. So it was. And then the Today Show reached out, and Good Morning America, and it was one thing after another. So it was a great Q4 last year. And we're just aiming for more this year. It's always about growth and building and always doing more.
You certainly have a delicious and a strong business story to tell. So I love when that happens, when you can go in both directions, really talking about the strong business strategy and the success there. And then, of course, your product is beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing and delicious.
But you should also see how it's delivered. Serena, the packaging, it's unbelievable. Everything's separated. It's beautiful.
I see. I've been looking, and I have to say this is why I know so much about the brand, because they're telling the story. They're showing how everything's packaged, how things ship. I even know that they put ice packs on top of it. So I know. I was looking. I was doing my research.
Yeah, that's the goal. And that's the hardest thing oftentimes to convey to people is that this is not a DIY box. It comes exactly like you see it in the photos. And I think that's really difficult for people to understand. And we've done everything we can to capture that in video and on our social and on our everywhere we possibly can. And Shark Tank was really helpful with that because you have a full, 9-minute segment to explain to people what it is and to show them that they don't have to send a boring gift basket anymore and that there's alternatives that are much more unique and interesting.
So I want to know, if I'm throwing a dinner party, how do you determine, or like just a party in general, let's say, how do you determine the size of the charcuterie platter so the audience knows how to, order from you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say to always, our boards are typically served as an appetizer. So our largest board, if you're having a party, we always recommend the largest one. It's for 9 to 10, and it really depends how much each person's going to eat. If you're having heavy appetizers, we would recommend, 2 for 15 people maybe. But if you're just having, light appetizers or if it's typically men eat more than women. So it really depends on the person. I mean, some people are like, I can't finish it all. It was way too much food. And some people are like, I wish I had ordered 2. So it's very case by case. And that's why we always put the ounces and everything. And there's 13 different cheeses on our largest board. So there's a lot to try. And I think that's what ends up happening. People try one thing. They're like, oh, I've never tried something like that before. So they go over and they try another aspect of it. And so it really becomes, and Erin, my partner, likes to call it event-ertainment. So, it's an entertaining experience to try everything and try to guess what you're tasting. And then we have a map that tells you what everything is for the Arte board and everything. So we try to make it fun.
That really is fun. It's like a whole little tour. All of your ingredients are organic and high quality. You are using different types of cheeses and meats and nuts and dried fruit, jam, olives, crackers, all of it. Do you have a gluten-free option?
We don't have a specifically gluten-free option yet. We're actually working on one, but the majority of the products in our boards are gluten-free. So already it's like, 90% of the board is gluten-free. We're looking at some gluten-free crackers now, which is the main thing that's not gluten-free. And there's a few candies in there that aren't. So we're probably going to replace everything to try to make it gluten-free because we get that question a lot.
And how about vegan?
Yeah, we have a vegan board. We do have a vegan do-it-yourself board. So and that's actually sold on Goldbelly. We're redoing it right now. We're trying to source some new vegan cheeses. Unfortunately, we use very artisan producers. That's what sets us apart. And so when COVID hit, a lot of these vegan producers that were artisan and had amazing specialty cheeses went out of business because they didn't have the volume and couldn't sell to specialty markets. So we had to kind of revamp that last year. And so those products are sold on Goldbelly through our brand Cheese Border, and eventually we'll migrate some of them to Boarderie.
Nice. Okay, so what's next for Boardery?
So we're really focused on growing our direct-to-consumer brand through our website. And, the more we sell direct-to-consumer through our website, we'll be able to offer new boards, board of the month, all of these really interesting things, sell hopefully specialty cheese boxes so that if you love certain cheeses from your boards, you can go and you can actually pick and choose which cheeses you want and get them in a specialty box, all different things down the road. But we're only in a year. We launched our website about 8 months ago. So it's not, we still have a ways to go in just growing our customer base. And we've been really fortunate the first 8 months, but we're excited to continue to share our knowledge of amazing cheeses with people and try new things and make beautiful boards. And we're doing lots of themed boards for every holiday. So, it's always evolving and growing, and we're a small team. So we're very nimble. We're always doing new things. And a lot of times it's like an idea we have one day and we try to get it executed within the next week. So we operate pretty quickly and it's fun.
Well, we are so excited to have had you on our show. We know there's so much more to come from you. You know, when I think about you, because I also know that you are really a young, dynamic entrepreneur. So I see you popping up on a lot of lists like those
Thank
30
you so
under
much.
30s and stuff in the future. So congrats to you. Our hats off to the company for really innovation and delivering deliciousness to the masses. So thanks. So tell everybody how they can find you and what and they can find and follow along.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So our website, Boardery, it's just BOARDERIE.com, has all of our products. We're always launching new themed boards for the holidays. Like we have great Easter boards and Mother's Day boards. And so that's where we're really doing everything. And then our social channels on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok are just Boardery. So you can follow along. We're always recommending new cheeses. We're always doing interesting, fun stuff like going shopping at Whole Foods and figuring out how much it would cost if you were going to make our board ourselves or yourself at home. So we're always keeping it fun, and you know, we love partnerships and collaborations with other fun brands. So if anybody has any ideas or wants to reach out for a collaboration, you know, we're open to everything.